Now, so by now we learn how can we solve the quadratic equations. Now, if we have more than one equation, if we have system of equations, one is linear and one is quadratic, what we have to do? We have three ways to solve them: graphing, elimination, and substitution. For them, for the graphing, as I told you, I will not ask you to graph. You have only, like, if you have this one here like this, and if this is the linear function, and if this is a quadratic one as an example, and I told you, I'm asking you now, what are the solution of the system of equation? You told me as an example at point -3, and at point 2, -5. So you told me that we have two solutions at -3, and at point -2, -5. Okay, I will bring it for you graphed, and you have to tell me what is the solution of the system of equation. So the first way that we solve the system of equation by graphing. The second way by elimination, and the third way by substitution. Now let's talk about an elimination way. For the elimination, if we have y equal x squared, and if you have a y equal 3x. Okay, I want now to use the elimination way. What I have to do? This is grade 8. If you want to use the elimination, what you have to do here?
First, we will subtract.
Yes, we will subtract them, or we can say that, yeah, if we want to subtract them, we keep the first one as it is, and we change the minus to be as plus, and then we change the sign of each term. So here we have positive y, it will be negative y, and here we have positive 3x, it will be negative 3x. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, teacher. Yes, teacher.
Then after that, now let's now add them. Y plus negative y, 0, and x squared minus 3x. Put them down. So x squared minus 3x equals 0. Now look at it here. I want now to solve it. I didn't make anything, just I combined them in one equation. Then I need to find the solution. What I have to do?
We will factorize.
We will factorize, exactly. How? Shall I use the factoring way?
Or... Negative 1.
No, that's square root. What I have to do?
We will factor is negative 1.
Shall we take the, I told you if there's no C, GCF. We took the GCF. So let's take x as a common factor here. X as a common factor. So we have an x minus 3 equals 0. Then after that, if there's two numbers are multiplied equals 0, so one of them will be 0. So x, it could be 0, and x, it could be what?
3.
So let's rewrite it as a x 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. So here we have an x0 and x equal 3. So for the x, I have a 0 and I have a 3. Now, I told you system of equation, if you want to solve it, as you see in the graphing, we don't have one point. If we have one equation, did you remember when you have one equation, we look at the x values and we said the numbers or the coordinate of x will be the solution. But if we have a system of a graphing, you have to know about the coordinate of the graphing. So that's mean if I have x, I must find y. How? How can we find y?
I will replace the 0 and 3 in one of the equations.
Exactly. So let's replace c now in this equation here. 0 squared minus 0 times 3 here. Let's take now, after we finished, we have to find x and y. So what we have to do now, let's go back to this equation here. At point 0, when x is 0, we said 0 squared minus 3 times 0. 0 squared, 0 minus 0,
0.
0. So it will be 0. The second one now. Let's replace now with a 3. So here, instead of 0, let's replace it now with a 3. So we have 3 squared minus 3 times 3. 3 squared is what?
3 squared 9. 0 also. 9.
Here we have 3. Yeah. It will be 9.
9.
Minus 3 times 3.
9. 9.
So yeah. So
0.
I have it also.
0.
0.
But teacher, when we don't have to find this y coordinates.
Wait, by the way, I'm sorry, I make something wrong. Here we have no, I didn't replace on the system of, we replace on one of the equations. We said y is x squared and y is 3x. So we need to replace in one equation. Okay? And not on the combined one. I have to replace in one equation. So let's repeat now. 0 squared, 0. And 3, did you understand what I'd say? You have to replace in one equation. So 3 squared, here, 3 squared is 9. So we have two solutions, 0, 0, and 3, 9. If you want to replace it on the second one, you must get the same answer. Like 3 times 0, 0, and 3 times 3 is also 9. So if you try, one girl try the first equation and the second girl try the second equation, you must get the same answer.
And teacher, see, if the first equation, one of the equations are not in the standard form, I will make them in the standard.
Yes, no, I must put isolate in the y inside and the others on the other side.
Yes, okay.
You must isolate y. This is the first step. Okay. Now let's have another example here. Y equal x squared minus 6x minus 8 and y equal x minus 2. Here now we have to use the elimination way. What we have to do? The first step, keep the first one. Let's subtract them. That's mean keep the first one as it is. Then put plus, change the minus to be plus, and then change the sign of each term. So what is the sign of y here? What is the sign of y?
Negative.
Here.
Positive.
Positive.
Not teacher, it will be y plus
Positive.
negative.
So it will be negative y. Now equals. What about the sign of x here?
Negative.
It is positive. So it will be negative.
It's going to be negative.
And 2 here.
Positive.
It's negative 2. So it will be positive 2.
Positive.
Now let's add them now. So what did we have? We have x squared minus 6x minus 8 minus x plus 2. Is it right? Add them. Equals what? Equals 0. Here in the previous lessons, I add them with you vertically. Here I do it horizontally. Is it clear?
Horizontal. How you made the teacher horizontal?
I mean, I add this one. I wrote this one here. Then I wrote this one. I combine them in one equation. Then I will simplify them. Like x squared minus 6x minus x is minus 7x. And minus 8 plus 2 minus 6 equals 0.
Then we will solve them.
This
It
is
will
by
be
vertically. Let's do it now by horizontally way, if you like it. In horizontally way, we have just to arrange them. What does it mean? That means I have to put the constant under the constant and the negative x under x. It will be like this. Then I will add them. X squared plus nothing, x squared. And negative 6x minus x, negative 7x. And negative 2 plus negative 8 plus 2 is what? Negative 6.
Negative 6.
Negative 6.
This is equals 0. Then I have after that, what we have to do? We have to find the solution. How? By factoring. Let's see now. Is there two numbers? If you multiplied, or before that, let's open them like, open two brackets like this here. Let's put now an x, x. Then here we have a negative 6.
how
So
teacher it will be factored.
it will be negative. So one is negative and one is positive. Then I want you now to give me two numbers. If you multiply them, you get 6. And if you add them, you get negative 7.
Nothing, teacher. 3 and 2 only.
3.
And 3
3 and 2. There's nothing more than 3 and 2.
Yeah. And what also? 6 and 1?
Yes, also 6 and
Oh, 6 and 1, yes. Yes.
1, also 1.
So negative 1 and
So
positive
negative
6.
1 and positive 6.
But if we solved them,
No, negative 6, positive 1.
okay, but if you add them, did you get negative 5? Negative 7, sorry. Will you get negative 5?
I will get negative 5.
But negative
Negative
5.
5.
So it cannot be factoring. It
Yes.
cannot be factored. What we have to do?
Completing the square or quadratic formula.
Let's use the quadratic formula. Okay?
Yes. Okay.
The quadratic formula here which is x equal negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Negative b, where is b? It is negative 7. So negative 7 plus or minus square root of b squared, which is negative 7 squared, minus 4 times a times c, which is negative 6, over 2 times 1. So negative 7 plus or minus, now negative 7 squared, 49, minus 4 times negative 6, which is 24, over
So
2.
teacher, I cannot make 1 multiplied by negative 6 equal negative 6 times by negative 4. And I will multiply the brackets, then multiply the 4.
Yes, you
Can
can
I?
do it. It is multiplied, yeah. You can multiply 1 time -6, which is -6, times 4, which is -24.
Okay, teacher.
And times minus, it will be +24. Now 49 plus 24.
49 plus 24, it will be
73.
73.
So, -7 plus or minus square root of 73 over 2. Now, square root of 73, it is 8.5. So what does it mean? That means if I have now two solutions.
-7 plus 8.5 over 2 and
One is
-7.
-7 plus 8.5 over 2. And the second one is -7 minus 8.5 over 2. Now, -7 plus 8.5 is 1.5. Okay, over 2.
1.5 over 2.
Which is 0.75. This is the first x. The second x now. -7 minus 8.5. Let's add them here.
-7 plus 8.5.
We put 0.5 first. 0. And 7 plus 8 is 15. So it's -15.5. Over 2. (15.5) over 2 it will be -7.75. These are what now? These are the solutions of x. Did I finish, or should I have to find y?
Find y. We need to
Find y, exactly. What I have to do if I want to find y, I will replace in any equation. So I have now two values, 0.75 and -7.75. Let's find y now. Let's replace in the easier one, which is y equal x minus 2. If x is 0.75, we will say 0.75 minus 2.
To be negative.
Negative what? 1.25.
Yes.
And the second one, we also tried to replace in the second equation, -7.75 minus 2. We have to add them. Leave the decimals as 0.75 and then add the whole number. -7 minus 2, -9. So the answer here is -9.75. So this will be now the solutions of the system of equation. Is it clear?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, miss.
Now let's use the third way, which is the substitution. If we have y equals x squared
Yes.
minus 5x, and the second one we have y equals -x minus 8. What we have to do? Here I use the substitution way. Substitution way, that's mean I have to replace -x minus 8 instead of y. So I will use, or I put this one here. So let's write it here as negative, or as a x squared minus 5x here. So we have this equation, this one, the first one. Let's take it here. Now, I told you I want to replace negative x minus 8 instead of y. So I will remove this y and I will replace a negative 6 minus 8 here. So I will put them like this. Then after that, I want to write them in the standard form to factorize them. So what I have to do, I will remove or I will isolate the variables on the side and the 0 on the other side. Here we have negative x. So plus x plus x. What did we have? We have a negative 8 equals x squared negative 5 minus 5x plus x. Then after that, did I finish? Did I isolate all the numbers on a side and the 0 on the other side? Or on the variables on the term on the side and the 0 on the other side?
No.
No.
No, still.
I have a negative 8. So I have now to move a negative 8 to the second side. So we have an x squared, then minus 5x plus x plus 8 equals 0. Did I finish now?
Still factoring.
Yeah, but did I finish now isolating it? Does it ready now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, but I have to simplify
Yes.
it. Look at it here. We have a negative 5x plus x.
Negative 4x.
I have to simplify it. It's not simplified. So I have to write it as an x squared minus 4x plus 8 equals 0. Now, is it ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
We will factorize.
let's now factorize them. Open two brackets. Distribute the x here and here. Now, I want numbers. If you add them, you get you multiply them, you get 8, and if you add them, you get negative 4.
We don't have, miss. 4 and 2 cannot.
Yeah. And 6 and 4 and 2 and 8 and 1 we cannot. So maybe I wrote it wrongly, because here it have a solution. It was x squared minus 5x plus x plus x plus 8. Okay, so it has to be an x minus 8. Okay, so I need to make some changes here. Let's come back. I cannot replace all of them here, but okay, let's see that we cannot solve it. So let's try now completing the square. Okay?
Okay.
What we have to do if I want completing the square, I
will
add the numbers here, which is
minus 8 minus 8.
yeah, but I look at here. Okay, before the first step, let's do it as you say. It is an x squared minus 4x, put it on a side, and the other side put a negative 8. Then by completing the square, what is the b here? It's negative 4. I will take it here, divide by 2 squared. Is it right?
Yes, equals
Yes.
to
Negative 4 over 2.
2
Negative
2
squared 4.
4.
So plus 4
So
on both
it will be
sides.
plus 4. So I will add 4 here, and I will add 4 here. Then after that, here I have x squared minus 4x plus 4. So I have an x minus 2 times x minus 2. Is it right if you want to factorize them?
Yes.
equals
Yes.
negative 4. Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. Then I have an x minus 2 squared equals negative 4. Then
Square root, square root.
under square root, under square root.
X 2.
X
Look at-
minus 2 equals
But
negative
teacher, we
2.
don't have a square root for negative 4.
Exactly, thank you. So what does it mean?
No
No
solution.
solution.
There's no solution.
Solution.
So what does it mean? That's mean if you want now, so here there's no solution. So what does it mean? That's mean if you imagine it now, if you are a graph, you make a graph here for them as an example, and you draw as an example, you draw the linear one. It's like this, and because it has a negative x minus 8, since it is negative, so it will be decreased. And the second one, it will be like this as an example. So that's mean they are not connecting each other with any point. So in this case, we will saw also there's no solution. They are not connecting each other with any point. They are not intercepted by any point. So that's why we say there's no solution. Is it clear?
Teacher, but
Yes.
is there, yes.
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Is there a solution by substitution? Also, I have make like elimination
No,
to replace
elimination.
the x.
No. If you try it by elimination or by substitution, you must get the same answer. Sorry, and does it mean that they are, if you solve it by elimination, it cannot be solved by substitution? In all the ways, it cannot be solved. And if you graph it also, like here as an example, it cannot be solved. So there's no common numbers if you solve the linear and it solves the quadratic one.
And teacher here, like what we do in elimination, that when we find the solution x equals 0, for example, we bring the 0 and we replace it in the equation to find y. So here in the substitution, we will make the same. If we have if there's solution.
Ah, yes, we will come back to, if you find the answer, you come back to one of the equation, you replace in it, and you'll find y.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now this is the ways of, this is like multiplying eliminations. Now let's, if you have now like this one here, if you have an 6x cubic minus 4x squared plus 15x minus 10. And I want you now to factorize it. This is an expression. I asked you now to factorize or factor each expression. This is an expression. It's not an equation. I want you just to factorize them. What we have to do? Who can remember?
I'll make 6x
Teacher,
cubic minus 4x squared.
The first
between
step,
them.
yeah, I will put a 6x cubic minus 4x squared in term, and the other one plus
In the other term.
15x minus 10 on the other term. Then I will find the greatest common factor for the first term and for the second term. Okay?
For the first, okay.
Yeah, so let's find them. Now, after you find them, you will find it will be 2x squared. So I have a 3x minus 2. Did I need to write the greatest common factor to let you see how we find it? Or is it clear?
Not it.
No, it's
No,
okay.
it's 0.
Okay, then 15x minus 10. Think about it. We
5.
have 5 only.
5.
Yes. Times
3x minus 2. Yes.
3x minus 2.
3x minus 2.
So after that, let's have a 3x minus 2 in term.
It's going to be
And
2x
2x
2 plus 5 and 3x
and the
minus 2.
Exactly. So this will be now how we factorize the expression.
But if there is a square, if the first term is to fourth degree, so we make the GCF.
Yeah, it will be the fourth degree. We'll have to find the GCF. Okay. If have like this one here, if you have an a minus 2 times a minus 13, and I ask you now to multiply them. We said that we have many ways: table way, FOIL way, distributive property. Did you remember them?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's make teacher by the distributive.
This is
or
what
the
by
table.
distributive. Okay. A minus a, which is a squared. A times a, which is a squared. Then a minus negative 13, which is
Negative 13a.
Then negative 2 minus a is negative 2a. And negative 2 minus 13 is positive 26.
Teacher, you are making like distributive, but without distributing them. A with the
Yeah, as the
a
first step,
multiply
you
a
multiply a with a, then a with negative 13. Then I will go to the second one, negative 2 times a, and negative 2 times negative 13, which is positive 26. Then after that,
okay.
I will simplify them. It will be a squared minus 13 minus 2 minus 15, a plus 26.
Yes.
Got it?
Got it. But teacher, do we have to factorize it, or the question is only
These are multiplying. These are the factors. In the red are the factors. Here we come back, we multiplied them.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's revise one example from chapter 7. Like if you have an a squared, b cubic, c squared over, let's make them like this, over 3a to the power 4 and b squared, they are raised to the power 2. The first step, what we have to do? We have to distribute exponents here in all terms. So a, it will be like this: a to the power negative 2 squared, b to the power negative 3 squared, c to the power 2 squared, over 3 squared, a to the power 4 squared, and b squared to the power 2. So I will distribute now, or I distributed, sorry, these two on each term. Done?
Done.
Then, after that now, here we have a to the power negative 2 raised to the power 2. If there's an exponent raised to the exponent, what I have to do? I have to multiply them, or add them, or subtract.
Multiply.
Multiply. Thank you.
No.
So I have
multiply.
a negative 4. Then come here, negative 3 and 2. What I have to do?
I will make negative 3 and 2. I will multiply. But 1 over this.
Yes, I will also multiply them. Why I have to multiply? Because they are raised. They are exponent raised to exponent raised to exponent. So b raised to the power negative 6. Then c squared squared. So c raised to the power 4 over 3 squared, 9. A raised to the power 4 squared. That's mean I have to multiply 4 times 2, which is a to the power 8. And b raised to the power 4.
Yes.
But I didn't finish them now. I have to simplify.
A minus 4, it will be 1 over a.
So here,
to the power of 4, like this.
Let's now, after that, sorry. Let's now minute, please. So here we have now what we have to do. Let's put it like this. Put 9 down. Then look at A's here. We have a to the power -4 and a to the power 8.
Subtract.
If we put an 8, you have to subtract. Yes, you have to say -4 minus 8. So it will be what? -12. Subtract the exponents. If they are divided, you have to subtract them. -4 minus 8, -12. Then B, -6 minus 4, -10.
Yes.
Then C raised to the power 4. Then after I finished here, the -12 cannot be up. It must be down. Cannot be in the denominator. In the numerator, sorry. So I have to write it as 9. Then a to the power -12 is 1 over a to the power 12.